Stop Brexit, EU ready to curb immigration to appease Theresa May, pleads Nick Clegg. The arch-Remainer, who lost his seat at the general election in June, has said it was unforgivable of Theresa May not to try to pursue the idea. Mr. Clegg said, "I've had several conversations in the past few months, with one Prime Minister and one Deputy Head of Government in the EU, who are making efforts to go much further than the package of measures David negotiated. If the cost of keeping the UK in the tent was a new EU-wide approach to freedom of movement, they would bite that bullet." The former Liberal Democrat leader has claimed that Theresa May made no attempt in the wake of the EU referendum to see whether there was some way she could finesse this. He added that Mrs. May had been persuaded that freedom of movement is a far more rigid principle than it actually is. In an interview with the Sunday Times magazine, Mr. Clegg said, "The arch-federalists in Europe, and the arch-Brexiteers in this country, have interpreted freedom of movement as some Old Testament orthodoxy. But it ain't." Last week, in front of an audience at University College London, the ex-politician also said if Theresa May had only reached out to EU 27 states to ask for changes to open-door migration, Brussels would have had a package of reforms ready for her. However, Mrs. May did not reach out and so the offer was never made, Mr. Clegg claimed. Mr. Clegg said, "I have heard it directly from heads of government that if Theresa May had vowed to leave the European Union in the least economically disruptive way possible, pursuing the Norway EFTA model, they would have understood that she'd be under immense pressure to at least have some change on freedom of movement. I was told about a year ago by a top Brussels official dealing with Brexit." He said, "I was working with top officials in Berlin to produce a new package of changes to freedom of movement as a concession to Theresa May. We expected that she would privately reach out to us to find some way to improve upon the package of reforms negotiated by David Cameron. But no one reached out to Angela Merkel or to Holland or anyone. I think it is one of the many misjudgments that have occurred. It is just another one of the twists and turns of the sorry saga where British leadership was absent and we desperately needed people to act with imagination and ingenuity, in those immediate weeks and months after the referendum." Mr. Clegg made the comments while discussing his new book, How to Stop Brexit with BBC moderator Emily Maylis, in front of the University College London audience. In his rant against Brexit, he also praised the widely disparaged raft of reforms David Cameron negotiated with Brussels ahead of the Brexit vote. Mr. Clegg also claimed his quest to stop Brexit was democratic at the event.